Welcome to SBR Forum Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are previewing the Eastern Conference Finals in the 2013 NHL Playoffs right now. Great matchup, great series. It's going to be Boston at Pitt, and we're going to preview it with returning guest Ross Benjamin from rbwins.com, who's been previewing game ones and series with us all playoffs long. Ross, thanks for being back with us.
Thank you for having me again, Peter.
All right, this is going to be a great series. Very, very tough to handicap. Before we get to it, tell us a little bit about rbwins.com.
rbwins.com is my URL. I've been in business since 2002 publicly, Peter. I'm on a tremendous run right now, 35-19, my last 54 with all my pay selections. That's good for 65%. And the best part of my site is when you go there and you purchase any single game package or single game selection from myself or any other of the great 7 handicappers at my site, you get our personal guarantee. If the game doesn't win, you get your money back. That's rbwins.com.
All right, sounds good. We're going to need you to bring all your handicapping chops for this one, though, because this is a tough series to handicap. It's going to be a great series to watch and follow. Boston at Pitt, of course. I mean, everyone's talking about this on the air. Everyone's giving all these opinions. Everyone's, Bruins in 6. If you think anything other than that, you're an idiot. Pens in 5. If you think anything other than that, you're a moron. You don't know anything about hockey. I don't know what I think about this. Stars all over the ice. I can tell you that right now the market has Pitt at minus 185 to win the series, Boston plus 166. So that's putting Pitt at about a 63% chance to win the series. That strikes me as a little bit high. I think that, if Pitt plays to their full potential, of course, they should win this one relatively easily. But Pitt has such a history of, losing their focus a little bit, sitting around waiting for power plays. And if they do that, Boston obviously has the talent and depth to steal this series. Pitt's not going to be able to do that for that long in this series. And then, of course, a big question mark with Pitt. They got a huge boost with Vokun in goal. If Fleury was in goal, I would definitely be liking Boston here at plus 166. Vokun's played great in the playoffs. Is he going to be able to continue it? I don't know. Ross Benjamin, what do you think about this series, the series at these lines?
I love the Bruins at plus 166.
Really?
It's a series,
Wow.
Peter. I like the Bruins to go all the way. I said this from the beginning, and I'm sticking to my guns. I don't care what anybody else thinks.
Wow.
I don't care the names that are out there, as you well know. Here's my thought process here. Look, this is a Bruins team 2 years ago that won the Stanley Cup and has pretty much stayed intact. In addition to a couple of young defensemen who's come in, Torrey Krug. This guy comes in against the Rangers. They bring him up from Providence, and the kid played like a seasoned veteran. Goaltending. You mentioned Thomas Vokun. He got fat in the series against Ottawa. Ottawa has no firepower. The Bruins can roll 4 lines at you. You're going to see them expose the Pens' defensive deficiencies, and also Thomas Vokun isn't going to look like the goaltender he was in the last series. Let's take a look at who Pittsburgh played so far. And I'm not taking anything away again from the Penguins, Peter. I mean, there's no doubt they're a star-studded cast with a lot of firepower. But if you looked at their first series against the Islanders, they were exposed. The Islanders are an explosive team, but the Islanders had a lot of deficiencies themselves defensively, and that's a bad omen against a Penguins team with that much firepower. In their next series, they played Ottawa, a team with not much firepower that likes to play close to the vest and win low-scoring games and had little, if any, playoff experience. Now you're playing a Boston team that's well-balanced, solid goaltending, a lot of veteran leadership, a big core of players that were there 2 years ago that won the Stanley Cup. I mean, when you consider everything, plus 166 is a value. I'm going to take the Boston Bruins to win this series, plus 166 over the Pittsburgh Penguins.
All right. I'm not going to contradict anything that you're saying. Obviously, a great case can be made for both teams. I'm going to play devil's advocate here and give sort of the opposite argument for what people are saying all over the internet. About why Pitt is likely to roll here. You look at Boston, obviously, if it weren't for that great comeback, you might say a collapse by Toronto in round one, Boston would be home watching TV right now. Then they did dominate the Rangers, of course, but the Rangers really did not bring it in that series. They didn't put up much of a fight at all. Now they're taking a huge step up against Pitt, and probably, it's going to be a lot closer to what we saw in the Toronto series, except Pitt arguably offers a much more formidable challenge, and, they're not likely to give away too many games if their head is focused, if their collective heads are focused. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I mean, that's a very good point. The bottom line is you could look at it that Toronto melted down in the third period of that game, or Boston showed a lot of character to come back the way they did.
A little bit of both.
Yeah, so, I mean, either way you look at it, they advanced, and they took advantage of the opportunity. They beat a Rangers team in 5 games, a team you could make the case that vastly underachieved this year, but still was talented with a very good goaltender and Henrik Lundqvist. And the Bruins made him look human, actually. So, again, I mean, at the end of the day, you certainly could make a case for both teams in this series. And there's a reason why the Penguins are as big a favorite as they are.
Right.
But I'm looking at value, Peter. And my value in this series totally with the underdog, with the Boston Bruins. They've been there. They've done that. And in my opinion, they're the better team in this series. Now, when I say that, let's not get carried away, folks. I'm talking about Pittsburgh has the better individual talent, I should say, especially offensively. But this is a Boston team that's built for the playoffs. 4 strong lines. They play both ends of the ice, solid goaltending. I like the Bruins as the value, plus 166, hands down. Having said that, Peter, your points are all well taken.
All right, well, I can tell you this. According to Pinnacle, the most likely specific outcome is Penguins in 5, which is plus 299. If you want Bruins in 6, it's plus 625, and Bruins in 7 is plus 676. So maybe you just take a shot with both of those, and you get a much better price than plus 166.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of – obviously, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that math adds up a heck of a lot more. Look, I'd love to say that the Bruins are going to sweep this series, but it's highly unlikely. Having said that, those numbers you just ran by the folks, that's a heck of a value.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Ross Benjamin from rbwins.com. Great preview. Thanks for sticking your neck out and giving a strong opinion. Me, I'm going to take the weak way out and say, I just don't know. Too many unknowns. How good will Vokun be? How much of an impact will the refs have here? How much will the Penguins' heads be in it collectively? I'm not sure. It does seem a little bit high to me, though, Boston at plus 166. So I guess that is the way I'd lean. I guess I'd lean towards Boston plus 1.5 games, minus 127, but there's no way I would bet this. But great preview. Ross Benjamin, thanks so much.
Thank you for having me again, Peter.